Okay, so hello everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Mohammed Nasere. I am a student, a computer science student at University of Ibn Tufail in Kenitra, Morocco, and this is going to be my ALX portfolio project presentation. It's about a mobile app that I've been developing. It's called Checkpoint, and in a nutshell, it's basically a habit and an addiction tracker with the focus of being very user friendly and easy to use in general. So when it comes to team members, this is obviously a solo project. So there's just me. I've worked on the design for the app. I worked on the brand identity, and I've also worked on the back end using a service called AppRights, which I've received some help with one of the guys joining in the call right now. So I'm going to go over all of this later.
Okay, like I would love to know who the guy is.
It's Kenji. It's the one named Kenji.
Okay.
So, what is Checkpoint? Checkpoint is, as I said earlier, it's a simple habit or and addiction tracker. It's a mobile app with the focus of being straight to the point, easy to use, where you can see everything from the home screen, as you can see here. There is a tile for habits and a tile for addictions. It is also dynamic, which updates based on what's going on inside of those pages. And I also focused on it being user friendly with a clean and good looking UI. This is what it looks like in the dark mode. So moving to the inspiration, there were basically two main inspirations for this project. There's the Haberica app, not sure if you guys know this. There is also Duolingo. This is I'm sure everyone knows what Duolingo is, but I
Yeah,
will
it's
explain what
popular.
this is.
It's popular.
So, Haberica. Haberica is basically the same concept as Checkpoint. It is also a habit tracker and a habit builder with the focus of being like a game. It has a very gamified experience. You have achievements, you have badges, and everything that comes with being a game, like all the rewards and all the dopamine hit stuff and all of that stuff. So the main problem I have with Haberica is its UI. As you can tell from the picture, it is very cluttered. It has too much going on. I don't really think it's aesthetically pleasing, which is the total opposite of Duolingo. As you can see here, Duolingo has a very clean UI. It has one of the best user experiences I've ever had in a mobile app. And in essence, I wanted to make Checkpoint as a combo of the two. So it is a habit tracker and also an addiction tracker with the focus of having a clean user experience and a user interface which is easy
Okay.
to use and comes off as beginner friendly and user friendly to anyone who is using the app. So when
Uh,
it comes to the technology and the architecture of the app, I used React Native to develop the app, which is a JavaScript framework. I also used Expo with it, which is a platform that helps me preview the app on my phone or on an emulator while developing the app, which makes it a lot easier compared to other stuff. I also used Native Wind, which is the React Native version of Tailwind CSS, a framework for CSS. And finally, I used AppWrite for which is the service for the backend. I used it for the backend and the database stuff, and it's the one I received help with from Kenji.
okay.
So why I haven't used Flutter? It's because Flutter uses its own programming language. It's called Dart. It's made by Google, and I find it to have a much steeper learning curve compared to React Native because React Native uses JavaScript. So JavaScript is much more, I would say, it's easier to learn compared to Dart. But Dart is simpler to use. Like when you learn Dart, I feel like it's going to be simpler to use in the long term. So
Okay.
the only reason why I started with React Native is because it has a very big library of community libraries. Yeah, it has a very big community support, and I feel like it is much more popular and has many tutorials and many stuff to help you with in your developing journey. But in general, I feel like Flutter is the better one, like in the long term, because it is much more optimized when it comes to the experience of the app. So
Okay.
the core algorithms of the app, there are four main algorithms. The first one is the user authentication with AppRights, which basically syncs the entire progress of the app with your checkpoint account. Uh, it also helps with the live UI updates because you can see from your home screen everything updating in real time. If you add a habit, you will see it appear in your home screen. You will see the number of active habits you have. You will also see if you have logged the app with your daily log, if you have done it in that day or not, which will also reset at the end of the day. You also have a system-wide dark mode, which applies to every element of the app, which also helps with the app being aesthetically pleasing, which is one of the main priorities I have with this app. The code snippet that I have here basically references the what I just explained earlier. This is the tile that I was talking about. It has the live habit tracking from the Home tab. You can see here the number of active habits I have, the daily log, if I have done the habits for that day or not. And here you can see a streak. So if you have been doing the habits continuously, your streak will increment by 1. And if you have missed a day, it will go back to 0 and you're gonna have to start over all again. So the
Okay.
first snippet that I have here, this is for fetching the habits for the current user. So when you log into your checkpoint account, the app will automatically check with the database. It will check the number of habits that you have based on your habits collection ID, and it will check if the account ID matches with the current user logged in. So it will match the amount of habits currently active. And yeah, it will basically update your UI just as you log in. The second code snippet is for updating the user habits count. So when you're in the app and when you add a habit or update the existing habits, it will automatically connect to the database using the user collection ID, and it will update the habit count either by incrementing it to 1 or just having all of the current habits updated in the integer of the, because if you check here, this is the habits collection that I have. It has many attributes. The first one is the name. Second one is for the log, if it's been logged or not. The third one is for the account ID. This is how you check if the same account logged in has the same account ID, which you can use to have the habit displayed in the home screen. And this is for the streak, which increments the streak if you have been doing the habit continuously. This one is for the last log date, which checks with the daily log, because the daily log resets after 24 hours. So this one is used to check to reset the daily log after it's 12 a.m. So this is the main one responsible for updating your number of habits, because when you add a habit, it will basically update the number and it will be updated in this text file right here, which is automatically fetched after you log into your account. So, moving to the process and timeline of developing the app, I first started off with two very simple wireframes. This is just some stuff that I was drawing. You can see here that
Okay.
I've tried to copy a little bit of what Duolingo does.
Lingo.
They have somewhat of a
Yeah.
timeline. You can see here. This is I wanted to have a gamified experience as well, but I find that it was too ambitious for the amount of time that I had. So I just
Yeah.
scrapped these features right here. The timeline and the achievements and all that, which will come in a later release, of course. But for now, you only have the habit tracking. This is a high fidelity wireframe that I made later, which you can see the resemblance is in the current version of the app. The tab bar is largely the same, but the top bar has been scrapped to have the username displayed on the top. This
Okay.
is this is the early version of the logo. You can see that I've tried to go for a health app aesthetic. It was green, and I wasn't really much of a fan of it. I did not think that it gave a sort of a game or it didn't really match the vibe that I was going with. So I ended up changing it later for a purple aesthetic, as you saw in the logo in the first slide. These are some of the early mockups that I made for the app. You can see the resemblance again. The UI is largely the same. You have your activity tab, which is the same tab from the current version. You have your profile tab, which displays your username and some data about the user. And you have a settings page with all kinds of settings, like changing the language, the account settings, dark mode, and everything else.
Okay.
After I've had the mockups made, I went straight to coding. I first followed this tutorial, which is made by JavaScript Mastery. It is a really good tutorial to get you
Mm.
into developing the app. The app they were making here is sort of like a TikTok clone where you can upload your videos and share it with your friends and have it like viewed and commented on and all kinds of that stuff. It wasn't really what I was going for, so the tutorial helped me with the first stuff, but later on, as I found more problems, I reverted to using GitHub Copilot, which is a really good service to help you with your code if you get stuck on anything.
Yeah. Okay.
These are some of the first screenshots that I have from the app. You can see how rough around the edges it is. This is the first version of the app that I've made. This is what the welcome screen used to look like. It doesn't look very good. And this is from a later build of the app where I had the habits and addictions pages made, but they were not correctly styled yet. So the timeline basically looks like this. I started with wireframing, then I went to making some mockups, and then I went straight to coding. I didn't waste any time. So
Okay.
when it comes to the challenges, the first challenge that I had was the learning curve. So I have said earlier that JavaScript is easier to learn compared to Dart, but as someone who didn't really have a prior experience with JavaScript, except for the Airbnb projects, which we had a couple of months ago, I didn't really touch JavaScript since then, so it was kind of challenging to get into a mobile app development environment when I haven't really used JavaScript in that long. So it was a bit harder to learn. I also encountered a lot of inexplicable errors. Like there were errors happening left and right. I would see that I have everything imported correctly, and I would still get an error anyway. So yeah, I had a lot of challenges with the errors, but thankfully I was able to debug all of them in the end.
Okay.
Also, I had errors with authentication and account issues. I wasn't able to log in correctly. Sometimes I would have issues with the email. They would say that the email doesn't exist when it also exists. So there was I had mainly problems with my configuration file for AppWrite. So I had to keep going back and forth between their documentation to have everything fixed, and I also had help from Kenji, and he helped me with how the whole structure of the database works and how I should structure everything.
Hi, QG, are you there? Hello, Kenji.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, I'm Kenji. I'm 28 years old from Belgium, and I'm a hobbyist developer, and I mainly specify in 3D arts. Um, yeah, I helped a bit with the database structure as I've done many projects before,
Okay.
mainly web projects. So I have no idea how React Native works.
Yeah,
um,
basically.
That's fine. Well, you did well. Your guys did well. So, Simo,
Yeah,
sorry, is it Simo or Spimo?
it's Simo. It's a nickname, but my
Oh,
actual name
Simo.
is Mohammed, so it's C Mohammed.
Okay, Mohammed.
Yeah,
Okay, so I could just go with Simo.
yeah,
All
sure,
right,
sure
Simo,
thing.
you could go on with your presentation.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so the fourth challenge that I had is basically getting everything to work together because as you continue progressing with your app, your code becomes like a forest. There are too many things that work with each other, and if you have an error in just one thing and you try to fix it, something else will break and you're gonna keep going in that circle. So as you go along with your project, it becomes harder to debug and find errors and fix those errors before you can launch the app. So that's something that I've had some problems with. But right now
Okay.
everything works fine. I hope so. I really hope I don't get embarrassed in the live demo, which is what we have
No,
next. So
no, you.
so this is the where's my yeah this is the project. I will first start it in Android Studio and then I will show you the iOS version.
Okay. Is this software hosted live, or is it in Google Play?
It's currently in internal testing on Google Play, but the app will take around 7 days to be verified. So you can
Oh,
try it
okay.
if you want. I can give you a link, but
Oh,
the app is not publicly available yet.
yeah. All right. All right. So
So yeah,
just give me a demo of it.
yeah. So when you start the app, this is the first screen that you see. You have a introduction screen with these cards and this button, which allows you to continue with email. Here you can either log into your existing account or sign up for a new account. I will just log into my existing account. Yeah, so this is the home screen. You get this message for the Google Play users because it is a pre-alpha version, so obviously not everything is going to work as expected. So this is the home screen. You have the habits tab and the addictions tab. When you click on the habits tab, you have your list of habits. You can click here to check your current habits. You can click here to add a habit. Let's do working out, for example. We save it. It is now saved. You can check here if you've done it today or not. We'll check all of them. And as you can see here, the habit count has updated from 2 to 3. The daily log has been checked because I have checked all of them for today, which will reset after 24 hours, so you're gonna have to keep checking them every day. And as you can see here, the streak count has also went up by 1. So this works exactly the same for the addictions tab. You have a couple of the addictions here. You can also add your own. We'll just say test, save. And you also have your addiction saved here. As you can see here, the streak is still 0 because I haven't checked the log thing, so I'm going to check it right here. Right now the streak has went by 1, but wait,
All right.
this one is checked, so now the daily log is also checked.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so this is the home screen. You can see here your username that you created with your account. It is automatically fetched as well from AppWrite. This is the profile section. You have here your username. I will soon add a option to change your profile account, and this is the button you use to log out.
Oh,
For
okay.
the settings page, you have account settings, language, dark mode, accessibility, and about. For now, only 2 of these work. Account settings doesn't have anything. Accessibility also doesn't have anything. Language only has English for now, so I am planning to add more features as we go on with the development. Dark
Yeah.
mode does work. If you click here, you will see a dark mode version of the app. Everything is changed to a darker version. Which also applies to the welcome screen. If I log out in a second, you will see that the welcome screen has also changed. In the about section, I
I
have
want to see that.
yeah, I will show you. In the about section, I have the version name. This is a shout out to ALX. And yeah,
Yeah.
so when we log out, you will see that the welcome screen has also changed to a dark mode version. So if we log in,
And I do love the UI you've came out with. Like it's intuitive.
yeah,
It's
it's
better than the
basically
last.
the main priority of it. I probably worked more on the app rather than the actual functionality of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the app basically. So I will show you the iOS version, which is a bit buggier compared to Android because I was mainly developing in the Android environment. So this is the iOS version. It also works the same.
Okay. I think you have to hasten up. We're losing time.
Yeah, right. So you can see here there are some bugs with the iOS version, which I am planning to fix in the later releases. So yeah, that was the app demo. I hope you all enjoyed it, and we will move to the next slide. So I want to talk about some upcoming features. In the later releases, I will have a badge system implemented, which is similar to what Duolingo is doing. You have like a set of milestones. If you complete a streak of 30 days, you will earn a badge, which you will be able to display in your profile. So this is obviously
Yeah.
going to come in a very later release. I also want to add a panic button for the addictions because in the addictions tab, I want to have a panic button that allows users to like go in and play a little mini game or something to help them like get a quick dopamine hit to not revert to their addiction. I'm not sure how I'm going to make this one, but we will see. I also want to have daily challenges. When you enter your app, you will see daily challenges like log in 5 habits or uh, something like that. Yeah, basically daily challenges. And I also want to have a friend list so you can add friends and see their progress and matches them, and basically the same way that Duolingo works. So, like I said earlier, this app is going to be a combo between Haberica and Duolingo. And
Okay.
finally, we have the learning about technical interests. So, when working on this app, I discovered that mobile app development is actually fun. Like the fact that you are working on the app and you see your app being made in front of you is a very surreal feeling. Like you see that you are making those changes and you see it update like live in front of you. And this is one of the things that I like about front end development in general. I'm not a big fan of back end, but with front end you have this thing where you can see what you're making being made in front of you, so that's a very
Oh,
good
yeah,
feeling.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it
That's true.
also elevates your skills in web development because when working with React Native, which also takes me to the next point, React Native is essentially a JavaScript framework. So you basically work in it the same way as you're working on a web project or a web app. So you can work with stuff like TypeScript and other JavaScript frameworks inside of your React Native project. So that's why it is very flexible, and it also has a much bigger community support compared to Flutter, for example. So you have a lot of free libraries to use. There are a lot of frameworks that make your work easier to use, and yeah. The final thing is that it refines your UI/UI skills because when you're working on your app, you are forced to test your app with other users. You will see what works and what doesn't work. You will be forced to make changes that make sense in your UI. So, in essence, it helps you refine your UI and UX skills in general. So
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
that's it for the presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you so much for your time.
oh, okay. Okay. All right. So for my feedback, I am really impressed.
Thank you.
Like, you had just a little time and you're able to pull out with this, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm impressed. You did a good job.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
also impressed. I was surprised that I was able to go this far with the app.
That's great. And I love how you like made references with other applications and
Yeah.
use that to make your own better. So like that's also a very good performance of yours. So also I have a question.
Yeah.
Does your app has like a reminder, some like a feature that reminds
Currently, it doesn't. It doesn't
its
have the
users to.
notifications enabled currently, but I will add that in a future release.
Yeah, that would be great if you could add that so that
Yeah.
it could remind users that okay, you need to do this, you need to do that, and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, one question.
Yeah.
How was this project inspired?
Honestly, I had this idea for a long time. I wanted to make a habit tracker and an addiction tracker. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but I haven't really found the occasion to do so. And when we finally got to the portfolio project to the for ALX, I thought that this was the perfect opportunity to work on this. And honestly, I'm a very lazy person, so if I didn't have this obligation to make the app, I wouldn't have gone so far as I did with this app. But the main inspiration came from the fact that I'm a big fan of self improvement, and I also love apps that have good UI because I also worked as a freelance graphic designer for a long time. So design in general is a big thing for me. So I really like my apps to have good UI and good user experiences.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine by me.
Yeah.
Hey,